Hi there, my name is Jamie Mackay and I head the Postgraduate Learning and Teaching Programmes, and this is an overview of the PG Cert in Learning and Teaching in the Arts. What is it? Essentially, the PG Cert is a supported professional inquiry into your teaching practice. And who's it for? It's for anyone with a responsibility for the development of others in an arts context. We have a broad spectrum of learners on the programme, working in informal and formal education contexts and teaching a wide range of arts disciplines. The programme is delivered part-time and on a blended learning model. If this disc here represents an annual cycle, the four thicker columns represent our face-to-face delivery. Essentially, this works out as 6 days over the year: a weekend in September, a Saturday in November, a weekend in February, a Saturday in April. These sessions can be accessed remotely, and over the last year we have been delivering everything as an online provision. However, we hope to be back in the building by the February sessions in 2022. In between the weekend sessions, we have online sessions that run on Thursday evenings. There's about 10 of those over the academic year. We do also run repeat sessions on Thursday mornings for students who are in significantly different time zones. We use a number of different platforms to support your learning. This is our institutional portal, and the dashboard gives you access to your email, modules, student contracts, etc. We use Moodle as our virtual learning environment, so each module has its own page with information about each individual session, recordings from the session, presentations, and links to any resources we want to draw your attention to. Moodle is also where you'd submit your assessment for each module. You have access to an e-portfolio, which is where you can develop drafts of your work and capture your reflections as you go throughout the programme. This is our face-to-face sessions. We use Adobe Connect for our online sessions. We also have a creative space, which is a non-curricular space for students and staff to share opportunities, collaborate, and network. If this is a plan view of a road, then full-time study at an institution looks very similar to this. Part-time blended learning study looks quite different. Essentially, we meet you at various points along that journey, our weekend and online sessions. Most of the time, your study is happening within your own professional context. So we need to support that in different ways. You'll have a personal supervisor and you'll be able to organise tutorials throughout your studies at times that suit you. You'll also be put in an action learning set, which is a group of learners of about 5 or 6 people who are in a similar context to you, who can support your studies as you go through. So what's involved in teaching practice inquiry? There are 2 modules involved in this. In year 1, you study teaching the arts, which is 30 credits, and it's about evidencing your practice. In year 2, you'll study the teacher as researcher, and that's about enhancing your practice. At the end of year 2, practitioners who work in a higher education or further education context with learners at SCQF level 7 or above, or the international equivalent of that, will gain HEA fellowship from Advanced HE. In terms of the actual content for the modules, teaching the arts involves starting with an analysis of your own teaching practice and your beliefs about that teaching practice and what makes good teaching. You'll be able to look at an element of your practice in detail. You will then deliver 2 30-minute sessions, which will be observed by peers, and you will use the feedback that they give you, along with the feedback from your learners, to reflect on your practice. This allows a professional dialogue to happen to inform your direction of travel for your next module. What you're essentially looking for are insights into your practice and where there might be room for improvement and development. You then study the teacher as researcher in year 2. This allows you to look at your practice in a more objective way from a distance and to identify a project which is new to you and your learners, something you haven't tried yet. And you go through an ethical approval process to be able to use the data that you gather from this project to enhance and evaluate your practice. So you deliver the actual project, you gather data on this and analyze the data. Then you look for conclusions about your practice and the project you've run in order to identify the onward direction for your development. So what are we looking for? We're looking for someone with an existing role as an arts educator. Ideally, you'd have a qualification in your art form, but it may be that you have a considerable amount of experience that we can take into account. A desire to discover new and creative approaches to arts education, and a readiness to engage in master's level study. What are the timeframes? Well, the modules run over 2 years, from September to June and from September to June. Together, this makes 60 credits of study, which is a notional 600 hours of study, which works out as a notional 8 hours of study a week. However, the plan is that you integrate your studies with your practice. And the more you can integrate your studies, the fewer additional hours you have to work. The idea is that you situate your studies within your existing practice in order to make genuine and meaningful enhancements. Again, at the end of this second module, you can achieve HEA fellowship if you work in a further education or higher education context. So what do you get from this? You would achieve the PG Cert in Learning and Teaching in the Arts qualification from the RCS. You'll achieve the HEA fellowship if you're working in FE and HE. You'll develop an enhanced teaching practice. You'll also develop academic and research skills. And be able to evidence if you do this, you come to us with your existing PG Cert qualification and start in year 2, the Arts Practice Inquiry strand, leading to the Professional Inquiry at the end. More information on these modules can be found in MEd Learning and Teaching web pages. So please do get in touch if you have any questions about the PG Cert in Learning and Teaching in the Arts. Thank you.